When you buy a jar of honey, what do you think you are buying? Most people would say sweetness gathered from flowers, nectar thickened and sealed, a gift of the land delivered by a small insect that happens to package it for you. But modern laboratory analysis has measured something else in that jar, something that no filter can reach, and once you see it, you will not unsee it. Peer-reviewed proteomic analysis, the kind of study that names every protein present in a substance, has documented what is dissolved into ordinary filtered honey, not floating on top, not a stray particle, dissolved. The single largest share of honey's protein is major royal jelly proteins, the same glandular secretion the bee makes to feed its queen. Alongside it are bee venom-like proteins, bee defensin 1, an antimicrobial peptide from the bee's own immune system, hymenopterin, a second bee immune protein, invertase, the enzyme the bee secretes to convert nectar, diastase, a bee enzyme so reliably present that honey is graded by how much of it survives, glucose oxidase, secreted from the bee's head glands, proline, the most abundant amino acid in honey, drawn from the bee's own saliva, and the bee's own DNA, traceable to the exact species of bee that made the jar, chemically distinct from any flower the bee visited. How does all of that end up in honey? Because bees do not collect honey, they make it. Nectar is a plant secretion. Honey is what the bee transforms nectar into. The bees pass nectar mouth to mouth between one another, over and over, a process called Trophallaxis. During each exchange, the bee introduces enzymes from its own glands. It transfers antimicrobial peptides and immune proteins from its own body. It seeds the substance with living microbes from its own digestive system. By the time the substance is deposited into a comb cell and sealed with wax, it is no longer nectar. It is a new material, chemically engineered by the hive. The bee is not delivering flower syrup. The bee is manufacturing a bee-derived product. You have been told honey gets filtered, and it does. Filtration removes what stays solid, a leg, a wing, a fleck of wax, a bit of pollen. What filtration cannot do is remove what has dissolved. Royal jelly proteins are dissolved. Venom-like proteins are dissolved. Defensin 1 is dissolved. The enzymes are dissolved. The bee's DNA is dissolved. Every spoonful of honey carries the enzymes, immune proteins, glandular secretions, and genetic material of the bee, worked all the way through it. The filter changes how the honey looks. It does not change what or whose it is. And here is the strange part. The honey industry is telling you exactly this and calling it wellness. Read the label of any premium raw honey, and you will find claims about its propolis content and its royal jelly content, sold as health-boosting properties. But name what those things actually are. Propolis is bee saliva mixed with tree resin. Royal jelly is a bee glandular secretion, the food the bee makes to feed its queen. When you list the wellness ingredients in honey, you are listing the body of the bee itself. The industry is telling you the honey is made of bee, and you are being asked to view that as a feature. You would never sit down and eat a bee, but mouth by mouth, gland by gland, enzyme by enzyme, the bee has been dissolved into the honey. What you thought was flower sweetness in a jar is bee body chemistry worked all the way through. If a lobster decomposed in your soup, you would throw it out, because you know what it means for a substance to carry the flesh of an unclean creature. Lab analysis says that every jar of honey is measurably bee. So what do you do with it? Death in the Hive. Is bee honey biblically clean? A new book coming soon from the creators of To the Torah and the Testimony.